Oh, come on. You know, the neophyte or new economist will tell you without equivocation that the production of goods and services require energy or electricity as an input. Electricity generation and transmission are a mirage in my country, your country. The startling news as we sit here is that electricity distribution companies known as DISCOs have quietly, some would say surreptitiously, increased the tariff payable by power consumers across the country. Naturally, users have kicked against the move, describing it as a perfect robbery. Emeka, is it enough to just kick?
It's not just about kicking. From, well, what some stakeholders were saying that this is the last, that effectively subsidy on electricity by the federal government has been removed. But people, you know, some others, they are also saying that, okay, if you say you've removed subsidy effectively, with the way NEC, the National Electricity Regulatory Commission, has been conducting itself, it doesn't give Nigerians that hope that NEC is for Nigerians. NEC behaves more, you know, like it's an ally of the discourse than, you know, for the fact that it ought to play a role, as a regulator.
In the interest of the people.
In the interest of the people.
Of the consumer.
Yes. What punishment has he given to the discos for their dismal performance? What has he done? How many of the discos have actually invested money in upgrading the equipment in their areas of operation? So you just find out that NEC, there's even little hope in NEC. So even if you say the subsidy has been finally removed, how are you sure that the discos themselves will not also bring up charges in different ways, just like we see with the banks, what the banks are doing to Nigerians? How are you sure they won't start bringing up some
the estimated billing and all that?
Or even, they are not even ready to end estimated billing. Otherwise,
talk less about buying prepaid
buying transformers or buying cables or buying all those things. It is still the same. It's the consumers who are still providing these things. Even though NEC will tell you don't buy transformers, it is those people, it's the consumer. Is the customers that are still buying these things. And what is NEC doing? Little or nothing. And it's unfortunate. So it's just about increment, without a corresponding improvement in the services offered by these discos. What you will find some of them doing is that the power that should be shared between industrial, commercial, and residential customers, they load these things to the industries because the industries are paying them money. And you find out that the people keep suffering.
Yeah. Don't we, you know, my country, your country is a country of conspiracy theories. And one beautiful thing about a conspiracy theory is it cannot be proven. But you've heard the Minister of Power, Minister of Housing now, Fashola, said there is a phrase in the DISCO agreement that you cannot cancel it.
Yeah, well, what has happened is that out of the 11, the management of 8 has been changed.
Out of the 11 DISCOs?
Out of the 11 DISCOs. So, but one area, or what we Nigerians love to do to businesses that we believe are owned by government, is that they should perpetually be subsidized. But it's a wrong approach to business. The moment you don't have alternatives, or even an alternative to what you are running, then whatever you get is what you get. One, most of us, we don't even report to NEC, the Electricity Regulation Commission, when things go wrong. We go to...
Is that the ideal situation?
That should be the ideal. It's just like you not reporting a corruption issue to ICPC. That's what the law says. So if anybody should ask me to buy transformer, I'm going to write NEC and say, see what these people are doing to me.
Because
But we don't report.
It's not your place.
It's not to do it.
Yeah.
Number two, sir, is that when these people came, they invested and put money down.
When you say these people means
the discos. It was money with which they bought it. At the time they were buying, of course, we all knew what the dollar was saying then, because most of the components that they give to us, they are dollarized. We know what it is now. So it's just like the issue of petrol. Government says in June, subsidy will go. So it means we should begin to prepare to buy fuel between 480 naira and 600 naira per liter.
Don't preempt them.
We are not preempting, sir. We are not preempting. But that is the reality on ground, sir.
Preempting, yeah.
That's the reality on ground.
Yeah.
So if these guys are saying to you that we are running this business at a loss, it is no longer government that owns it. So you have options. You go solar to reduce what you use. Because even going to filling stations now to go and buy fuel, in most places you find it at 250, where you don't want to kill.
300.
300. So you begin to look at cheaper alternatives, because in the end, sir, the only way, quote and unquote, we can punish them is by not patronizing them. Especially the moment you get your prepaid meter. Let them, they can't come and disconnect you.
Emeka, let me come to you like this. Is it true, necessarily true, that we are supplying electricity to one or two countries?
Of course, we are under certain agreements, but are the countries not owing Nigeria? And we are even, the other day, Burundi also, asked to be added to the list of countries to get help, to benefit one way or the other from Nigeria. So I think...
I'm looking at the map, Nigeria, Burundi.
Well, I know they talked about, was it a fuel or so? But, certain African countries will want to exploit that big brother role that Nigeria has continued to play unnecessarily. I think Nigeria needs to share that big brother role, because we have our internal problems, which are weighing so heavily on our shoulders. Let every country pursue its interest. Yes, I know, in the interest of African solidarity, we need to help one another. But beyond that, internally, things are not looking very good. The discourse, like Dr. Reddy said, are operating at a loss. And now, why would they continue to hang on to a business whereby even the managements of some of them have been sacked?
Do you think selling discourse to them in the first place was good business?
It was very bad. The process, let's not even go into the process, because it was fraught with a lot of things that were not in the interest of the Nigerian people.
No, we cannot sit here and say it was deliberate.
Well, the government at the time says everything was done transparently and according to international best practices. But today, combination of factors has made it impossible for the discos to operate at a profit, to avoid operating at a loss. So there must be a breaking point, because Nigerians cannot continue to suffer.
But have you heard that the major problem now in the chain is transmission?
Transmission, yes. Transmission, yes. But the discos themselves, how many of them are able to wield the power provided to them?
Generated.
Yeah, generated. So you find diversion. When they're supposed to send power to a certain area, and due to one or two problems in the feeder, they just move it to another area, particularly to industries that are ready to pay. So you just find out that Nigerians keep suffering. You brought different schemes. You brought the NNMP scheme, whereby Nigerians will get meters and then pay gradually. What happened to that scheme? I thought that before withdrawing your subsidy, you would have made sure that prepaid meters were given to Nigerians across board.
And prepare everybody for
Prepare everybody, yes. You don't still leave people on estimated billing, what is called crazy bills, and then you say you are withdrawing subsidy. What you are just doing is you are punishing Nigerians. You are punishing Nigerians. You want to withdraw subsidy on fuel. You are withdrawing subsidy on all kinds of things. So what benefit does the Nigerian get for being a Nigerian?
Dotto, the conspiracy theorists would be at work now, you know. Okay, what do I mean? It is simply, here are the discourse. They are at the crossroads. Mm-hmm. Recall that the Obasanjo government, about 6 months to the end of its tenure, hurriedly put up 10 IPP stations. Mm-hmm. If you remember, we thought that was going to answer our problem.
No, to run on gas. So. To run on gas.
What we know has happened with the discourse is that they don't have the power to utilize what is produced. If we are producing about 8,000 and the discourse can only use about 5,000 megawatts, what are they going to do with the remaining 3,000? Are we not better off selling to neighboring countries that will pay us for it instead of keeping it somewhere?
Okay. So may I just throw this in? Emeka, if you can help us, you do. Akwa Ibom has the Ibom power plant somewhere at Ikorobasi. It generates 101 megawatts. The whole state does not need more than 40, 50. So everything is emptied into the national grid.
Yes.
No, nothing comes back.
But that's the law. And that's why a lot of people are saying, can we look at our laws again? In Lagos State here, the former Lagos State governor,
I recall the Enron,
put in something. Saga. It's only the secretariat that is making use of it.
For now, yeah.
Whereas that thing can go around some other parts of Lagos. So that's what the law says. You must generate and bring in. So if they are generating and there is no capacity to transmit, it dies in there. It's just there. And nobody is using it. That's the reason why some people are clamoring that, like the telecoms, all of these IPPs can be encouraged to run. If I have IPP close to me, it's left for me to decide this month I want to use IKEDC.
Okay.
Or I want to use IPP.
Yeah.
You have a choice.
Sir, there are some phones now that have 3 SIMs. So you can have all the telecoms in one phone.
Yeah.
And then you decide, okay, Wi-Fi, internet service is better on this one. You use it. Call is better on this one. You use it. But in this case,
sorry, we must go back to hiking the
cost of tariff.
The cost without putting the citizenry on notice.
That is, you see, they couldn't have put citizens on notice when we're in the middle of a biting fuel scarcity. That would have been pushing their luck too far.
But don't forget the law, sir. The law does not make it mandatory to put any citizen on notice. It says every so and so period.
Yes,
you can
actually, yes. But
they don't owe us that explanation.
Why is it that?
They don't owe us.
But why is it
but
that?
the laws, no, man was not made for law. Laws were made for man.
But we shouldn't forget.
Why? But that is not the only aspect of the law that needs to be implemented. You had the National Mass Metering Program. What happened to it? Why wasn't it followed through? You now brought the meter acquisition program.
Exactly.
For people to be paying money, whereas the NMMP was meant to ensure that prepaid meters were, distributed across board.
But don't you think there's, Dotto and Emeka, don't you think there's a conspiracy of silence? Nobody seems to be challenging.
That's what I'm saying. The government is more on the side of helping the disco so they don't collapse totally, helping their balance sheet so that they don't run into bankruptcy. Yes, that's what I talked about next.
A lot of them are owing the banks.
Yes, that's what I talked about next.
Loans. And that's what I said. See, if 1 unit of meter was being sold, let's just put a figure to it, at 40,000 naira.
Yeah.
Because at the time they were bringing it, they were ordering for it, the dollar was 300 naira. By the time it was going to come in, the dollar had become 700.
Yeah.
How do you manage it?
Yeah.
So that's why these things are not coming in. Some of the discos are also complaining that the meters being produced locally, they are substandard, and as such affecting them. Have we done anything? Where is the Standard Organization of Nigeria? It's a whole chain that if we are not careful, will keep putting us in this kind of problem.
But you see also where the problem is. Look at a place like Ogun State. Ogun State, where you have many industries. Industries are springing up. The residential customers in many places in Ogun State are suffering.
But will you?
They are suffering.
But will you, as a producer,
yes,
or a manufacturer, see where you can sell your goods at a higher rate and go and sell it where?
Now, does the law give
Does
that
the law say also that you must only produce power? Look at what it has said. If you give somebody 12 hours of power in a day, he's on so band. If you give 14, it's on so band.
Yes.
16, another band. 18, another band. And then you now have it. Industrial, residential. And the industrial will pay me more. And you think I'm now going to go to residential? That's what.
But you see, when you do that,
yes,
when you do that, of course, you will definitely cheat the customers. Because one, it's not just about whether industrial or not. The fact of the matter is that some of these discos, their equipment are obsolete. They've not invested heavily in providing equipment. In providing equipment. That is the problem. So they are just, it's just convenient for them to divert power to industries.
Don't start wahala here. A disco is not here. We are simply journalists.
But it's again, just the truth.
We may not be able to change the direction of the wind, but we can change the direction of the ship, don't you think?
Yeah, but government should bring back that NMPP, that National Mass Metering Program. Government should bring it back.
All right. Dotun and Emeka, I'm tempted at this point to join Emeka's countryman, Professor
Chino.
There was a country. And I'm talking about the country of the ECN. There was a country.
Yeah, well, the population, there's some people will tell you that population of Nigeria wasn't, you have it today. You didn't have so many industries and all of that. Urbanization, industrialization, wasn't as widespread as it is today.
Transmission lines.
Yeah, the transmission is still another thing. I heard somebody saying that President Muhammadu Buhari would get to 22,000 megawatts or so. And I now wonder, even if you get to 100,000 megawatts, the problems are still there. The major problems in terms of distribution, they are still there. So, and I align with Dr. in part, in terms of the fact that these discos prefer for their businesses to succeed. But also, Nigerians must be duly served.
All right.
So, power.
Don't ask me if we're on NEPA now. But I know electricity, we are generating electricity here.